Hello everyone, my name is Dani. Welcome back to my channel, and today it's time to do the Do I Have That Other Book challenge. So let's talk about books. The first version of this challenge was created by Tabby from Keeping Tabs. I'm gonna link her channel down in the description with the first part, part 1 of this challenge. And we collaborated to do the part 2 because I really wanted to do this challenge, but I wanted to create new questions because I've seen so many people do the first one already. And she mentioned that she was about to create the second version, and we collaborated. Each of us came up with 10 prompts. So we have a total of 20, and it works pretty much the same as the other one. So you just have to go through each of the questions and find a book on your bookshelf. Like before, the idea is that you don't look at the questions before you do this, and that you time yourself to see how fast you can find these books. I just filmed myself finding all the books, and I did it in 6 minutes and 52 seconds. I think that was good. There was just one specific book that was really hard to find, and there's also a bonus question that I forgot to tag myself for it. So I would say it took me 7 minutes and maybe 10 seconds to do it. All of the questions for the challenge are also going to be in the description, so you can take them and do this video yourself. And make sure you check Tabby's video as well. Let's go through the questions and I'll show you what I picked for each of them. So the first question is, do you have a book with a fox on the cover or as part of the plot? And this was actually the one that took me the longest. I skipped it and I went back to it in the end to try to find it. And I picked Bonecryer's Moon by Catherine Purdy. It mentions foxes, and that's as close as I could get to it. I mean, there are technically foxes in this book, but they're not a major part of the plot. It's not on the cover, but that's as close as I could get. Second question is, do you have a book that was published on the year that you were born or within 3 years? And yes, I for sure have a few. I have a challenge that I'm challenging myself to do, but I also have a video about it that I want to read books that were published in the year I was born. So I picked The Eye of the World, which is book 1 for The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. It was published in 1990. Number 3, do you have a book with music as a weapon or as magic? I picked The Kingdom of Back by Mary Lou. This is the closest I could get, and I think the music is magical enough in here for it to count. Number 4, do you have a series with mismatched covers? Yes, I do. My Nevernight series are all mismatched. I have the first one in paperback in Portuguese, I have the second one in paperback in English, and I have the third one in hardcover. So, very mismatched. Number 5, do you have a book with a shapeshifter? For this one, I grabbed Welcome to Night Vale by Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Craner. This is based on a podcast that's so much fun that I totally recommend. And I haven't read it yet, but it says here, Diane Creighton, 15-year-old son, Josh, is moody and a shapeshifter. So there's a shapeshifter in this book. Number 6, do you have a book signed by the author? For this one, I picked The Test by Sylvain Novelle. It is signed. I bought it at Indigo and they had a few copies signed. Number 7, do you have a book with a mostly red cover? I for sure do. This is pretty much all red all around it. And it's one of my favorite covers. I've shown it here multiple times. This is Red Queen in Portuguese by Victoria Aveyard. Number 8. Do you have a book that has between 287 to 306 pages? Which is very specific. And that, of course, was Tabby's prompt. I picked An Unwanted Guest by Sherry Lapina. It has 290 pages. so it fits. It wasn't easy. Number 9. Do you have a book where the main character wears glasses? I mean, that wasn't hard. I picked Harry Potter. I picked the first one just because it was the easiest one to get from my bookshelf. But yes, Harry Potter wears glasses. Number 10. Do you have a book with a title that has the same number of letters as your first name? For this, I picked Dracula, which also has 7 letters as my name. My first name is Daniela, and it also starts with the same letter, which is amazing. Number 11. Do you have a book with cybercrime or technology as an important plot point? For this one, I picked All Systems Red by Martha Wells. This is the first in the Murderbot Diaries. This is a sci-fi about robots, so I'd say technology is very important here. I was really hoping I could find a cybercrime book, but I'm not sure I have one. In trying to be fast, I picked a very, very sci-fi with robots and in space. So there's a lot of technology. Number 12. Do you have a book in another language or translated? For this, I picked Uma Mulher no Escuro by Rafael Montes, which is a Brazilian author, a Brazilian book in Portuguese, so it fits very well. Number 13. Do you have a book by an Asian author? For this, I picked The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I haven't read it yet, but I really want to, and it would be a great opportunity since the Asian Readathon is happening this month, and that's kind of what made me remember that this was here on my bookshelf, because I saw a lot of people talking about it, that they're reading for the Asian Readathon. So yes, Asian author. Number 14. Do you have a book with a moon on the cover? For this, I picked Winterwood by Shi Earnshaw. This is a really cute crate edition, and it was really helpful that it also has a moon on the spine, because then it was easy for me to find it on the bookshelf. Number 15. Do you have an illustrated children's book? I picked Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the illustrated edition. I'm not even sure if I can pick the same book twice, but this is a different edition, a different thing that I pulled out of my bookshelf, so I'm counting it. Also, I could have picked any of the illustrated editions, but this is the most children's of the options, so that's the one. Oh my god, it doesn't fit here anymore. That's alright, put it back. Because I made a mess, and it's gonna be very hard to organize everything that I did on my bookshelf for this challenge. Number 16. Do you have a collection of myths or fairy tales? I have 2 very cool collections of fairy tales. I grabbed this one because it was easiest, and this is translated to Portuguese, but it's fairy tales from Europe in general, but the most well-known fairy tales like Beauty and the Beast, Snow White, Little Mermaid, the ones that we know from Disney, and some others. And it's really cool. I also have one in the same collection that's Norse fairy tales, and I also bought one that is Celtic fairy tales, and I'm very excited for that one to be released because I pre-ordered it. They're doing like a Kickstarter thing for all these books, and I'm very excited for when I get that one finally. Number 17. Do you have a fantasy or sci-fi that has an alliance between races? For this one, I picked Binti by Nadia Okorafor. I read it just last month, and it has so many different races in this book. It's a collection of the 3 novellas, and some are not in an alliance, but a lot of others are in alliances. So for sure, this fits. Number 18. Do you have a book with a narrow cover? Yes, I have The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo in paperback. So narrow cover means that the book, like the front cover of the book, doesn't go all the way. So there's some space here. And yes, I have this one. Number 19. Do you have a book that includes the first chapter of the sequel in it? So I have The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden, and in the end of the book, it has the beginning of A Girl in the Tower, which is the next book in this series. And the last question is, do you have a book with a broken spine? I do. I have Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. I don't know if you can see because of the white, but this is very broken. Because I read it in the beginning of the year. There's no way to read this type of book without breaking the spine, or I would have to go like this, and I don't do that. I really don't mind breaking the spines of my books. And that one is very broken. And the bonus question is, do you have a book that covers 3 or more prompts? And for this one, I picked Sword of Destiny by Andrzej Sapkowski, which is the second book in the Witcher series. And this one has shapeshifting. It is a translated book from Polish. The original is in Polish. And it also, what was the other thing? It has an alliance between races in some ways. And I think it has the first chapter of the next book. That's not the name of the next book. Maybe it's the name of the first chapter of the next book. I'm not sure what this is, but it's the continuation of the series. I hope you guys had fun. I had a lot of fun doing this, and I was so excited to do a challenge because that was so feeling like filming a challenge today. Thank you so much, Tabby, for letting me join you in creating part 2 of this challenge. I keep trying to not call it tag and call it challenge because I think it's more of a challenge than a tag, but call it whatever you want. I don't mind. So I'm gonna challenge some people to do this challenge as well. I'm gonna put your names here on the screen and your channels in the description, and I'm also gonna tag you on Twitter so you don't miss it. I can't wait to see all your videos for this challenge. Remember to subscribe to my channel and to like this video and leave a comment to let me know what you thought of this challenge. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye!